Welcome back. We are in open session. Is that working? Can you hear us? Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, board members, I need a motion to suspend the rules to add 10.1, the recommendation of a legal firm, back to the agenda to be addressed after 12.01.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion by Ms. Lindsay, a second by Mr. Walter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. So 10.01, board, we need to have a motion for a recommendation of a legal firm.
I'd like to make the motion to accept Johnston, Allison, Hurd as our attorneys.
Is there a second?
Second.
So there's a motion by Ms. Lindsay, a second by Mr. Treadaway. So let's take a vote on that. All those in favor, we're going to take a vote by the raise of the hand. All those in favor, raise your right hand. So we have 3 votes. All those opposed? Okay, so that motion fails. So board members, I need another motion for a recommendation of a legal firm.
I'll make a motion for Pointer and Sproul for a 1-year contract.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Mr. Furr, a second by Ms. Escobar. So we'll take a vote. Again, raise the right hand. All those in favor, say raise your hand. All those opposed? So that's 3-4. Okay, board members, that's the only 2 firms that we have to vote on. Do you want to take another vote?
I think we should discuss.
Okay.
So I mean,
What you should do is have a motion pending, then have discussion. So you can, doesn't mean you have to agree with whatever the motion may be. I mean, you could restate one of these motions, have a second, discuss whatever you want to discuss, and then vote on that motion or an amendment.
so I need to make a motion again to,
That's correct. You need to make a motion, need to have a second, and you can discuss anything you want to
okay.
based upon the content of whatever the motion is.
Okay, I would like to make a motion again that we accept Johnson, Allison, and Hurd, and Middlebrook.
I think it's a motion to reconsider a matter that was already taken up during the same meeting, and someone who was on the side that lost cannot make the motion again, cannot make the motion to reconsider at the same meeting.
No, well,
But she can make a motion
so what
to
happens is
discuss it
who
again.
lost the first time would be, well, who voted against Johnston, Taylor, Allison, Horde. One of those members could make a motion to reconsider Johnston, Taylor, Allison, Horde. That could be seconded, and then it could be discussed. And whether it fails again, that's for y'all to decide.
Or you can make another motion.
So if I'm hearing you right, another board member needs to make a
The
motion.
motion that, on the people, it depends on what the motion is. Whoever voted against Johnston, Taylor, Allison, Horde can make a motion to reconsider. Have a second and discuss whatever you want to discuss and vote on that motion. Okay? Even if the person votes or makes the motion, they don't have to vote in agreement with Johnston, Taylor, Allison, Horde or the Pointer and Sproul. But to have a discussion of this board, you need to have a motion, you have to have a second, whatever, or you can vote, you can make a motion for any other firm if that's what you want to do. But y'all are talking about 2 firms, so I want y'all to be, I want to respect y'all's decision on those 2 firms.
Can the board chair do that?
Do what?
Yes, the board chair can make a motion.
So I'll make a motion.
Let me, on the, let me see here. So I had for Johnston, Taylor, Allison, and Horde, it was Miss Lindsay, it was Mr. Walter, and it was Mr. Treadaway. So one of the other four, yes, you could make that motion, Madam Chair,
Okay, so I make a motion
to reconsider
to reconsider
Johnston, Taylor, Allison, and Horde.
Allison, and Horde, and Middlebrooks. Right.
Yes, and then you make the motion, somebody needs to second it.
That means we can discuss it.
Yes.
In order to discuss
And
it.
and what happens is that doesn't mean Madam Chair has to vote for it. She just made the motion to start discussion. Right. So now it can be discussed.
Adcock.
Ma'am?
A motion by Ms. Adcock, a second by Mr.
To
Farr.
reconsider.
To be
Now y'all can discuss
reconsidered.
whatever y'all want to discuss.
Okay.
A motion for Johnson, Allison, Horde. Right.
Okay.
Right. And and somebody can make an amendment if you want to, but that's what the motion is on the floor right now for discussion.
She can open it up for discussion.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So I would like to start the discussion if that's okay with Madam Chair.
That's good.
Thank you. I, first of all, would like to say that I appreciate the attorneys actually being here for last meeting and this meeting. I would like to point out to the board that the only two attorneys that are here right now are from Johnson, Allison, Horde, and Middlebrook. My concern is that not having a local attorney that can come to all of the meetings regularly is going to be an issue for us, because we may have a meeting that might be a special called meeting, and we need to make sure that representation is going to be available. And I think it speaks volumes to these attorneys that they're here tonight and were here last Monday, even though they didn't have to be.
Any other comments? Ms. Escobar?
I want to echo that and say thank you as well. I think that it is a point of consideration to have a local firm. I think that is something that you need to balance. I will say my biggest concern is that the majority of work that needs to be done is education law. And when I'm weighing the difference between the two firms, the one I voted for has a significant number of education law experts. That's the business we're in. So I respect these lawyers tremendously that are here, but the majority of their expertise is not in education law. They have one attorney who is an excellent attorney, but the reality of the amount of work that we have as being as large as we are, I think would require, and we could benefit from more than one education lawyer. So that's why I made my decision the way I did. But as Sam said at the beginning of this tonight, either one, I think I don't think we can go wrong. I'm just explaining why I made the decision that I made.
Mr. Walter?
Yeah, seconding the things that were said, I think it does say something, that being here, that does tell me that, hey, they want our business. The resumes to me are very strong. Granted, it's one, but this is only the agreement's only for a year. So if things don't work out, even if it's 6 months from now, we can go a different direction if we need to. But I think the local connection here, the commitment to Cabarrus County that's been shown, and frankly, I thought they interviewed a lot better than the other firm did. So.
I agree with Ms. Escobar, and I do appreciate the guys being here. And like we've all said, they're really two good firms. But I've been down here long enough to know that at some point in time, you need to listen to people. Every decision we make, we got resources and people we talk to. And when I talk to staff in this building, every one of them pointed in the right direction. Not only did they grade out they had what, 8 people, 8 first places out of, the other one had 1 or 2?
4.
4, okay. So you had 8 to 4 there with the committee or the group, and you got the recommendation from the people in this building who has to work with these people, like I said earlier, 90% of the time. I mean, you know, I think we owe it to our staff to do what they want in this situation.
For me,
Can I say, I'm sorry. One more thing. Previously, we had lawyers from not local, and they never missed a meeting. So I don't think being local means that you're not going to be here every time.
I have a hard time hearing the other side.
okay. So I can be heard.
Not from the speakers. I can hear you. Okay, not from the speakers.
Okay. So for me, as one individual vote, I decided not to vote on either firm because, in my opinion, all of my boxes were not checked as one individual board member. I respect my colleagues. I respect the lawyers who have come in front of us and presented. But for me, as one individual, the boxes were not checked for me on several things, and I had more cons than I had pros for both firms. If we could go back to the drawing board, it would be beneficial for me. But again, I'm just one board member, and I only have one vote. So I chose not to vote for either one.
Mr. White, can you come to the podium for a minute and clarify something for me? On one particular incident where we had a board member that did not vote, you said that when they didn't vote that it went to the, so what does that mean?
Mrs. Sandage did vote in both. She voted in the negative in both.
Okay, I thought
So-
she said she didn't vote.
No, she said she didn't vote for. What I heard was she voted in the negative
Against,
because there's
okay,
more cons in
okay.
her list
I get that.
than pros in her list.
Okay, thank you for
Yes, ma'am.
clarifying that. Any other discussion? Mr. Treadaway?
I'll just reiterate, I'm going to be looking forward to working with either group that we choose, but to echo, I think it was Mr. Walter, I felt like Mr. Middlebrooks did a better job of answering my questions as a former educator in regards to EC. For me, it's a quality versus quantity issue, is that there is one versus a team, but I was more impressed with him and how he addressed the kind of EC situations I was accustomed to as an administrator.
Any other discussion about this firm? What's the pleasure of the board? Would you like to take another vote on this firm? Is that appropriate at this time?
I just want to reiterate for the board, it's on the motion right now before the board is to reconsider Johnson Taylor. Okay, and I'm butchering their names, I apologize, but the Johnson firm. So the board either needs to vote on that or there needs to be an amendment to that motion to something else if that's what you want to do. That's where you are right now.
Madam Chair, I'd like to call for question, so I think we ought to vote again.
Okay, I have a motion that we vote again on this firm. There a second?
No, you don't need a motion. You called the question, you already have a motion, and a second discussion, you just vote.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. This is very confusing. Okay, so board members, we're going to vote. All those in favor of Johnston, Allison, Horde, and Middlebrooks, please raise your right hand. Those opposed? Okay, so that's 3-4. So if we would like to discuss the other attorney firm, then we'll need a new motion. Is that correct?
to either discuss or to vote on on the other firm, you would have to have a motion to reconsider that decision. That vote would be a motion to reconsider could be made by Mrs. Sandage, Mr. Treadaway, Ms. Lindsay, or Mr. Walter, I'm sorry. So they could make a motion to reconsider Pointer and Sproul, have it seconded by one of the four, and then that could be either discussed or it could be brought straight to a vote after you've already had a discussion.
All right, well, my motion was,
We don't get a vote. I mean, we don't come to consensus
Then your current lawyers will continue on.
Yes.
if they want to.
if they want to.
We want
So
to.
that would be my motion, that we continue on a month-to-month basis until we can resolve this issue in the same terms and conditions that we've
Okay,
had.
so y'all have thrown a lot around. I want to make certain right now there was a motion made by Mr. Walter to continue with what you have right now, Mr. Vogel and myself, or Mr. Vogel's firm and my firm, on a month-to-month basis until this matter can be sorted out. So that is what the motion made by Mr. Walter.
So we have a motion. Is there a second? Okay, there's no second, so that
That dies.
motion is dead.
Okay.
The board can make any motion or no motion at once.
Can we go back in closed session?
Sure. You can make that motion. If somebody makes that motion, whether you or somebody else.
But closed session, remember, is for obtaining legal advice and for personnel matters and certain other enumerated
Right.
things. It's not to have this discussion in private.
We can also table this to the next meeting too, right?
You can motion to table. You can make a motion to table. Even though the contract ends tomorrow, we continue
Mhm.
working. We're not going to leave any client in the lurch.
No.
No lawyer would do that, and we're not going to do that.
So if we go into closed session, what is the reason or the purpose of that? Legal advice, okay. So I need a motion for us to convene in closed session to consult with an attorney, preserve the attorney-client privilege pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A3, and to consider confidential personnel matters pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A6. Is there a second?
I'll make it.
So
Or, wait, I'm making the motion.
there's a motion, I need a second.
Ma'am, second.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Lindsay, a second by Mr. Treadaway. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Can we leave and go somewhere to
We'll leave.
Yes.
So y'all can fix that up.
Sure. And that's y'all's pleasure.
Okay, board members, we will move to reconvene in open session. I need a motion to reconvene in open session.
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Lindsay, a second by Mr. Furr. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are now in open session. We want to make another vote. Mr. White, we would like to make another vote.
Okay. So if it's about 10.01,
Yes.
then there needs to be a motion to reconsider one of the firms to start the discussion.
Or make another motion.
Okay, so we want to make a motion to reconsider.
If you wanted to reconsider one of the other firms, then it would have to be somebody that, let me see here. Again, that would be, Madam Chair, Ms. Escobar, Ms. Sandage, or Mr. Furr, I believe.
If it's a motion for the Johnston firm.
Right.
If it's a motion for the Pointer firm, it could only be made by
That would be
Ms.
Ms.
Lindsay, Ms. Sandage, Mr. Furr, and Mr. Walter.
Right, Treadaway.
Got that wrong?
Treadaway.
Okay.
Mr. Treadaway.
Got it, thanks.
Okay, well, I will make a motion for us to reconsider Johnston, Allison, Horde, and Middlebrooks for a one-year contract.
I'll second. Oh, wait, I'm not allowed to, right?
Correct. That would be,
I'll second.
yes.
Okay, I have
Thank
a motion by Ms. Adcock and a second by Ms. Escobar. All those in favor of voting for Johnson, Allison, Horde, and Middlebrooks, please raise your right hand. Opposed? So that's a 4-3 vote. So
I didn't catch the 4. I was trying to look. 1, 2,
Madam
yes,
Chair,
that's
Ms.
4, 3.
Lindsay,
Yep.
Mr. Walter, Mr. Treadaway.
So that is a confirmation for Johnson and Allison, Horde, and Middlebrooks.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. So now we will move to 13.01. Board members, I need a motion to approve the closed session minutes as presented and make them confidential.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion by Ms. Lindsay, a second by Mr. Walter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Closed session minutes have been approved. So I now call for a motion to approve the personnel report as presented.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would like to move to be recused from this vote due to familiar relationships with some names that are on that list.
And I'll make a motion that we allow,
That would just be a second.
okay, right. I second that.
Okay, board members, all those in favor of recusing Mr. Treadaway from this vote, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So now we need a motion to approve the personnel report as presented.
So moved.
I need a second. So I have a motion by Ms. Lindsay, a second by Mr. Furr. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the personnel report is approved. Okay, board members, we will go to 14.01.
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Walters, second by Ms. Lindsay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.